Hello and welcome back. Let us just get right into it. Now, on this one, we are going to be making a sorting system. So, in order to do this, we are going to follow a video made by Nebula Games over on YouTube. I'm going to make a link in the description. And we are basically going to add a couple of custom nodes using C++ into our project. So the prerequisites for this is having Visual Studio installed and also just yeah, it's linked up so you can actually use it with Unreal. You don't have to know anything whatsoever about C++, and you don't have to worry about it. But we are going to be adding 3 different sorting functions to our system. We're going to be adding sorting by amount, sorting by category, and sorting by name. So let's just get started with that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my content drawer and let us make a new C++ class. So actually on the top left here, over on tools, we can now select new C++ class. We're going to scroll all the way down. Now, as I said, this part of the tutorial is coming from another video over on Nebula Games Incorporate over on YouTube. I will put a link in the description for that. We're going to be adding a blueprint function library. I'm going to call this one sort array. Sort array. Yeah. Sort array. Yeah. And then I'm going to hit create class. This might take a little while depending on your computer and if Unreal is happy and if Visual Studio wants to play ball. Now include sources. Please close the editor and build it from your IDE. So let's do that. Would you like to edit the code now? No. So now I am in my Visual Studio version of the project. Now building an IDE basically just means to build it from here before starting it up again in Unreal. So you can just hold Control Shift B and then it's going to build your project. Okay, so now that we have built it, we're going to go to source, and inside your project file, you now have your sortarray.cpp or sortarray header. So let's open up both of these, and let's start with going to our header file. Now inside of here is where we're going to make our functions. I will put we're not going to go through actually coding this because that will take some time. I'm going to put a link in the description to the paste bin that Nebula Games has made for us, and you can just follow along with that. So now I'm taking the one that is above the dotted line in the paste bin, and I'm putting it inside the generator body, and I'm hitting Control V, and that is our sorting functions. Now you can see that we have a thing called integer sort, we have a function called float sort, and a string sort. So that is the 3 ones that we're going to be handling. We have a boolean that's going to be as an input, depending telling us if it's a descending or ascending. So if you're sorting from alphabetical normally or backwards, whatever, it takes an input of a integer as an array. It takes an input as a float as an array and a string as an array. So yeah, that's all we have to do here. Now we can go back into our CPP, or rather go over into our CPP, and now we're going to add the functionality for our functions. And this is everything from underneath the dotted line, and just underneath include, you can now shift insert that. Now over here, before if I compile this, so Control Shift B, that is going to pass out errors. As you can see here, it's not finding the names, basically, because we are using our void to give it looking for the name of our function, but we haven't actually implemented that. And the reason he put it like this is because you have probably a different name for your function than he has for his. By him I mean Nebula Games, as I said before. So inside of my .cpp file, so we need the u to be there, but we also need our name of the function. So name of my function is going to be sort array, the one that I created before. So I'm going to paste it in like this, u sort array, making sure that everything is as it should be, and then plugging that in for all of the places that we need the name of our function, making sure everything is good. Now if I hit well, actually I need to go out of this project. If I hit Control Shift B, that is gonna compile this for me, and now you can see that we succeeded. So I'll see you back in Unreal. Okay, now that we are back in Unreal, what we are gonna do is we're gonna, because we want this to work with all of our inventories, we want it to work with a chest if you want it to be that, if storage containers and everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to implement this into our inventory component. And the first thing that we're going to add is a alphabetical sort. So let's just do that. So inside of my functions, I'm going to add a new function. This is going to be my sort alphabetical. It's going to have an input of descending, or rather it could be reverse, doesn't matter for me. Descending question mark, descending, local descending question mark. Now what I want to do is I want to get my contents. I want to do a for each loop out of my contents. I want to break my array element, and I want to check if it's valid class, because we don't want to implement it if it's not a valid class. We don't want it to be sorting empty slots. Okay, so if we are a valid class, we are going to sort alphabetical here. That means we're going to use the string sort function. In order to do that, we want to, well, we have our item here, so we can get our defaults. We can get our item info. Now, actually, let's add some more things to this. So the first thing I want to add is inside my inventory system, I believe it is, some item info. We're not going to touch item info because that might break our entire shit. So we're going to add it inside of our master item over here. Inside of here, actually we do have an item category, we just don't have an internal name. So we need an internal name, which is going to be a string. Compile, save, and that's it for that. Now we have a category, as I said. How does our categories look? Consumable, yeah, that's okay for us. Now we want to do it with our string, so let's add a local variable. This one is going to be my sort alph array. Sort alphabetical array, right? It's a string, it's an array of strings. If it's true, if it's a valid class, we want to add to this our internal name. And at the same time, we want to, as I said, be instruction enums. We want to right click, create a new blueprint structure. This one is going to be my alph cat num cache. Alphabetical, categorical, number cache, numerical cache. Instead of that, I'm going to add a string. It's going to be the name. I'm going to have a master item class reference, name item, integer, which is quantity, and then let's also add the category. I do not necessarily know if we're going to need this. The category, I mean, because the category is theoretically inside of our master item already, so you like 99% you don't need that. Let's add it anyway for now. You can clean that up if you want. Now let's add that as a local. So it's going to be my alph cat num cache. It's going to be an array as well. Local alph cat num cache. Then we want to add the info at the same index so we're adding to this and then we're adding to that. So it's adding to 0, adding to 0. We want these to be interchangeable. We want them to be on the same index for this to work. Name comes from our internal name. Item comes from our item. Quantity comes from our quantity. Category comes from our item category. Once all of this is done, now we have added our array of strings to we're added ourselves to a array of strings and cached the information about that string. Now we want to get our sort array. We want to call our string sort function that we created in C++ earlier with the help of the guy in the description. We want to get our local descending like so. We then want to go into a for each loop. We're going to loop through all of these. This is now sorted, so it came in like this, it comes out like that. We're going to loop out from our sorted. We want to get our cache. We want to do a for each loop out of that as well. Now here, we are sorting after alphabeticals. We're only worried about our name. I'm going to break open my array element. I'm going to check if the name is equal, so equal string, equal exactly string. There we go. If it's equal to the array element of our sort array. If it is, awesome. Now we know that this is our, yeah, we know that it's the same thing. Let's add a new local variable. It's going to be of type inventory contents. I'm going to call this one new inventory contents. And we are going to add the information from here, quantity, and the item to that. Once this is done, we can get our local alph cache. We can remove the item. The item is the one at the array element over here. And then that is all good to go. Now in our first array, for each loop, sorry, we're going to get our contents, and we're going to set our content to the new inventory contents. Are from completed, like so. Then we're going to make inside of our event graph, we're going to make a new custom event. This one is going to be refresh sort. Refresh sort is going to get our slot refs. It's going to do a for each loop out of our slot refs. And we're going to update the slot. Now if I go back into my sort alphabetical, I could call my sort, what did I call it? Refresh sort, yeah. And that is it for our alphabetical sort. Now, inside of my content folder, I'm going to search up item. We have all our items. And what we need to do is we need to, for example, the iron chest piece, the internal name, I'm going to give it iron headpiece. No big letters or anything, just small letters, one word. So this is our iron headpiece. No, this is our iron chest piece, sorry. Iron chest piece. This is our iron headpiece. Here we got our item pork chop. Or maybe you just want pork chop for that. Maybe you don't want an item. This is our stone. This is our wood. Wooden chest piece. Wooden headpiece. And that's it for that. Now we can close out of all of our items. Hopefully the categories are good for later. And now let us call this. So I'm going to go into my WBP player screen. Do I have that here? So I'm going into my HUD first. And then we have our player inventory. That's what I wanted to go into. We got our player inventory over here. I'm not gonna bother too much about making this this pretty. So this is our, we just switch for that. Our inventory is always here. So what I'm gonna do is how am I gonna do this? I'm actually gonna wrap this canvas with a, yeah, I'm just gonna do it like this. I'm gonna wrap it with a vertical box, and inside of this vertical box, I'm gonna add a button. You can make this look however you want it to be. I'm not gonna bother too much about it. This is gonna be my sort alph button. Sort alph sort in alphabetical order. Sort in alphabetical order. Smaller one that. Sort alph text. Not gonna be variable. I'm also gonna go to my button and I'm gonna center that. This is gonna be my sort in alphabetical order button. When I click that, I can simply get the inventory ref, the inventory component. Now, for this, I know this button is going to be referencing the player inventory button. So I'm going to get my HUD ref. I can get my player ref. After my player ref, I could get my inventory. And then this one, I can do a sort alphabetical. Now, we have a descending node, remember? So let's actually add a flip-flop, not a for each loop, sorry. A flip-flop. And this is our B. And these can be in any order you want, honestly. I'm going to do it like this, though. So descending is up top, not descending is up bottom. I compile and save, and now I play. Oh, I think I'm holding something. Yeah, there we go. So I can spawn in things, sort in alphabetical order. Now it's reverse order, because that's our A. Container. Hang on. There's something wrong with our. I think it's something wrong with our naming conventions because I did not realize that we had our storage there. Let's figure out storage containers. Small storage container. What's your internal name? Nothing, right? Small storage container. This is going to be my big storage container. And now we also had other things. So crafting but simple. So this is our start of our internal name. Crafting bench, simple crafting bench. And internal name. Advanced crafting bench. File. Hit play. Go in. Now I can sort in alphabetical order again. Now we got our pork chop over there. And then we got a... Let me see how this looks. So our pork chop. www. Massive storage container. Oh, it's called big storage container. So we need the naming conventions to be right? Because this made me confused. So M became into a B. It's just the naming conventions that's causing a bit of a problem right now. Sort in alphabetical order. So our pork chop. So we got advanced crafting bench. So our pork chop is clearly not the correct one. What did I call my pork chop? I called it pork chop, but it's a space in between. So it had an empty space in between. If I not sort in alphabetical order, now we got A, I, M. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, K, I, L, M, N, O, P, S, W, right? And the other way around, W, 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 S, P, and so on. So that's our alphabetical instead in order. Now let us work with our categorical. Actually, let's do our amount first of all. So let's just close out. Let's just do our amount first of all. Let's just close everything. Except for our inventory component. Inside here, I'm going to duplicate my sort alphabetical. I'm going to call this one sort numerical. Or quantity, or whatever you want to be. In here, I'm going to make a new local variable. This one is going to be a type integer, not 64. This one is going to be my sort amount int. I'm going to remove my alpha array. I'm going to add the quantity to my new array over here. And then I'm going to pass it through to the local cache. Now I want to get my array and I want to sort integer. Remove the other one. Alpha completed. Plug in my integer sort. Local descending goes into that. We remove this next for each loop because now we want to loop through our quantity into the other for each loop. Now this one we want to check if the quantity is equal to the element of our array over there. If that is true, item, remove, pass through our new contents, and that is it for our sort numerical. We go back to my WBP inventory again. I'm going to duplicate my sort alpha button. I'm going to call this one my sort numerical button. Numerical should really be quantity, to be fair. Doesn't matter for me though. Sort num text sort in numerical order. I was going to add a padding of 5 to the top just so we can have it separated. Now over on clicked, I can now just get my inventory component. Again, I know this is going to be the player inventory, so I'm going to pass through the player component. Copy that, move it down. Descending should go at the top into a flip-flop, obviously. Keep forgetting that. Like so. And now we got our sort numerical. So I can go into my content inventory, press numerical, and we got 24 all the way down to 1. 24 should be here now, and 10 there, 10 there, 24 there. So now we got numerical sorted. Let us also add categorical while we're at it. Inside my inventory component, I'm going to duplicate my sort numerical, and I'm going to call this one sort categorical. Now, sort categorical is going to be very similar to our first one. So we're going to remove our integer array. I'm going to get my string array. I'm going to add a value to that. The value I'm going to add is the equipment category. I'm going to do a string, enum to string, not to byte, into that, plug it in. Once that is done, I can get my sort array. I could do a string sort, remove these, plug in my reverse into completed, remove this for each loop, do another for each loop, into my cache, remove the quantity and the category to string. So we are actually using the category here in order to, so we do actually need that. Checking if the enum to string is equal to, need to equal exactly on that. There we go. It's equal to the array element. If that is true, we're going to pass through and add and remove. We're going to pass through and sort the array. Compile, back to my WBP inventory. I am actually going to move these things a little bit. So I'm actually going to replace this with a horizontal box. I'm going to get my button, center it. Now I'm actually going to do a vertical over here. And then I can pass this into the vertical, just because I did have a little bit of bad space there. Again, I'm going to pad this 5 to the top. I'm going to duplicate that. This is going to be my sort categorical button. Sort cat text. Sort in, sort by category. Should be sort by alphabetical, sort by, yeah, probably should. Doesn't matter to me though. Center that to get rid of the lines. Center. When I click my sort categorical, I can get my inventory component. I can get my flip-flop first of all, so I don't forget that. Remove the numerical, sort categorical. Descending on A. Not descending on B. And that should be it for our categorical sort as well. So now if I sort by category, now we can see that we have NA up top, equipment, consumable, building, and building. So this one should now become at the bottom, building should be at the top, building, equipment, NA, equipment, building. So that's it for our sorting system. I will leave a link in the description for Nebula Games, who made this blueprint function for us. Go over there, leave him a like, leave him a subscribe, and all of that good stuff. And I will see you in the next episode, if there is a new episode of this system. I don't know yet, honestly. I'm just winging this. Okay, until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.